What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Wow. Let me say, first of all, this has been, it was a great evening. I had Michael and Gina and their daughter and everything else in here. And shout out to Wayne. Wayne, I'm looking forward to having that drink with you. This game tonight, I'm going to say it was so emotional to see Jimmy Johnson finally in the Ring of Honor, seeing Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson giving each other credit and hopefully becoming friends again. There is no Whedon Boys without Jerry or Jimmy. We can all agree on that Jimmy Johnson was one hell of a coach and one hell of a player, personnel guy, and the Cowboys truly were better off having him. You know, they were what the Cowboys needed. Trust me. I had seen the heights of the Dallas Cowboys through the 70s and saw their demise in the 80s, going to 3 NFC championship games in a row and losing them. And then finally, just literally going off a cliff, where Tom Landry, one of the greatest coaches to ever coach in the NFL, his ideas, his designs, his being the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, the head coach, the player personnel guy, the game had finally passed him by, and it was sad to see that. And it was his time to go. You can argue about how Jerry Jones did it with his brashness, but coming into the Dallas Cowboys, an organization that was losing money and literally bankrupt, to have turned that team around and made the NFL. And let me say, made the NFL, because the things that Jerry did, the NFL came along kicking and streaming. They were the team that ended up getting the Nike swoosh put on the stadium. They were the first team to start getting outside endorsements and opening the doors for all of the revenue sharing and money that the teams made. That was because of Jerry Jones. But Jimmy Johnson took a team that was literally garbage and created a juggernaut. And it's time to recognize, as much as y'all hate it, that was one incredible story for the NFL. I, for one, am a guy who believes in karma, and I think that the way we have always been losing since those Super Bowls in agonizing fashion when it comes to playoffs, from Tony Romo bobbling the snap to Des Bryant's catch no catch to Aaron Rodgers with 53 seconds going down and winning after Dak Prescott and crew go down to take the lead, to see the muddle huddle, or to see Dak Prescott scrambling and running out of time, that these were beyond just losing, that these were, I'm sticking a knife in your back and making sure you feel extra pain from these losses. That's the way I always felt about it. But tonight, this game, I don't know how. I know when the Lions got the 2-point conversion, I sat there, like, this is typical Cowboys. It had gotten to the point with Jason Garrett. No matter how we were doing, you always sat there and said, how are we going to lose this game? Because we would find the craziest ways to lose games. And to see them with 23 seconds left on the clock get that 2-point conversion, and I'm just like, oh God. Here it was. We finally got Dak Prescott in the offense in gear. We go down, we get go-ahead touchdown, and now the defense isn't going to be able to stop them, and they got the two-point conversion. This game is lost. But to have that penalty, it's like, okay, I guess the Lions will kick the extra point, and we'll go to overtime to see if we can win it there. But then to see Micah Parsons jump offside, it's like, oh, God, I'm going to die this death again. And for them to stop him was unbelievable. We still got problems. The two things that have always been the bugaboo for the Cowboys in the playoffs are being able to run the football and stopping the run. The Lions, I don't know what the final total was. I know it was well over 125 yards running the football. They were effective running the football at times. And that has been a problem for it. Running the football, Tony Pollard ended up with about 50 yards, 3.1 yard average. Mainly on the last drive, he had like 3 really good runs that basically were the majority of the yardage that he got on the day. Better late than never, but we got to do better with the run. We have to do better with the run. And you see that on that drive, that Tony Pollard finally started getting some runs in there, that it opened up things to the passing game where we were able to really do some damage. And so that's one of the things we have to work on. I'm also going to say Mike McCarthy, his clock management and play calling down the stretch, I was like, what are you doing? It was second down and 13. Second down and 13. And here it is. We end up throwing a deep pass. I felt like that was a Jason Garrett type of a deal, where you're up, you're trying to kill clock, and you're going for it all. Or a Kellen Moore type play. If they had run the football, even if they didn't make a yard, it would have forced the Lions to take that timeout, that last timeout right then and there. Then you have third down, you go ahead, you run another play, they can't stop the clock. It gets, instead of it being like a minute and 40 something left, it ends up being under a minute of time left in the game. They don't have enough time to go down there and score, and they have no timeouts. But instead we passed it, and it ended up being that it gave them enough time to go down there. Mike McCarthy, you got to do better, bro. That was a brain fart. That was terrible. So on with the game balls, and I hope I don't leave anybody out. But my quarterback, early on in the game, as soon as Dak threw that interception, people are like, see, Dak sucks. Old Dak is back. Well, here's the thing. Dak Prescott right now has 3 more touchdowns. I know not everybody's played yet, but he's got 3 more touchdowns to the next guy. He only has, I believe, 8 interceptions on the season. 32 TDs, 8 interceptions. Guys, that ain't much. That ain't much in turnovers. Slow your damn roll. They keep saying, Shady McCoy was saying, when Dak blew people out, well, I want to see how it is, when he plays bad, how he reacts. Well, he had the interception early in the game. How did he respond? He should have been sacked in the end zone for safety. Somehow gets away and hits CeeDee Lamb for a 92-yard TD. Just to let you know, that is the second longest touchdown pass in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. The only one that's better was with Mel Renfro and I think Craig Morton. That's it. That's the list. That was an incredible play. And they say that a franchise quarterback puts the team on their back and wills them to win. On a night where your offensive line was terrible, Tyler Smith gets hurt. Tyron Smith gets beat by Chad Hutchinson for a sack. He got sacked by Hutchinson, I believe, 3 times. Terrence Steele is still struggling with the speed rushers. On a night that your offensive line was terrible and your running game was basically non-existent, without Dak Prescott, you don't win that game. In my mind, Dak has got to be in the MVP conversation. I didn't say win it, but he still needs to be in that conversation. He, of course, gets a game ball. You could see the game plan tonight was for CeeDee Lamb to get the record at home when Jimmy Johnson gets inducted. And they forced the ball to him quite a few times. But CeeDee responded. He is now the Dallas Cowboys single-season record holder in receptions and yards. And the thing that I like about this is when Michael Irvin did it, it was 16 games. Now, of course, there's 17. But CeeDee Lamb did it in 16 games. And so you definitely have to say, shout out to CeeDee Lamb. But Brandon Cooks, he made some key catches down the stretch. We had some drop passes from Ferguson that really bugged me. It was tight coverage. The Lions, shout out to the Lions because the Lions played a hell of a game. And the Lions are a lot better team than I thought they were going to be. I totally poo-pooed the Lions and kept saying, but they're still the Lions. Well, they showed me that these ain't your daddy's Lions. These are the Dan Campbell, we're going to bite you off the kneecaps and everything else, because they literally were biting people off the kneecaps. So shout out to them. On the defense, Micah Parsons was early on the run stopping, was his usual stuff. Didn't get any sacks, but had a lot of pressures and leads the NFL. And I think he's well over 100 pressures on the year, and nobody's even close to him. He is a beast. Now, he did have the offsides on the 2-point conversion that almost came to bite us in the ass. But other than that, Micah Parsons is that guy. D-Law. The thing that's kind of crazy to me, and I don't know if it's actually Cowboy fans or if they're trolls or what, but a lot of times people will say things that are just plain stupid or not even close to being right. Somebody was saying that D-Law, he's not playing very good. He stinks. And I'm kind of like, have you actually been watching? Because D-Law has been playing with his hair on fire the last couple of weeks and run stopping. He's never been that big sack number guy, except for that one year he got the 14 and the year he got 10. He has been the edge rushing, run stopping guy. And he had some incredible stops for losses this game. Of course, D-Law definitely gets a game ball as well. But the defense in general, they had problems in run stopping. They were bending a lot in this game. They did give up some yardage, but they still kept them to 19 points. You keep them under 19 points, if we can do that in the playoffs, and this is a Lion team that is a good team. They got a couple of takeaways in this game, something they hadn't been able to do the last couple of games. And so in all, boy, I'm running out of fire. The defense definitely gets a game ball. Our kicker, I think it's 34 kicks in a row without a miss this season. You could almost put him in the MVP conversation as well, because that dude is definitely the real deal. Now, we got a lot to work on. I don't know what the game plan will be next week. I'm assuming that it's going to be game watching to see what the Eagles do. Kyler Murray is listed as questionable for the game. Wow, never seen that happen before. He's listed as questionable for the game, so we don't know if he's going to play or how the Cardinals will play against the Eagles or what shape they'll be in. And then next week they've got the Giants. I don't know what the game plan is going to be for them, if they're going to say, we're just going to go ahead and rest people and just, not worry about what happens as far as the seeding goes. I don't know. We don't even know what time the game's going to be. I guess we won't find that out until probably tomorrow night maybe, or maybe Monday. But there you go. That's it. Game balls. Whew. Man, it is late, and man, I am tired. We have a lot to talk about. We got all day tomorrow to do that. We'll be watching games and things. And don't forget, if you are still interested in going to the tailgate or the game, I can still get you tickets to sit with us in section 315. And we'll be in the red zone lot, so I hope to see a bunch of you guys there at the game. So with that being said, that's it. We're done. So remember, good people, remember to tell the people you love how much you love them. You might not get the chance again. And I love you guys. And how about them Cowboys? God willing, I'll see you in the morning. Peace out.